Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. I'm Ben, this is Books with Benghis Khan, and I have for you a big December book haul. Now hopefully this is my last big book haul for a while because I just recently cataloged my books and I have a book buying problem, an addiction you might say. I have a few hundred that I've read here, but I think I'm going on about 500 unread books, and that will take me years to go through if I read a book or two a week. So I have to slow down a lot, but I'm excited to show you what I have because I got some great stuff. The most exciting thing might be the newest release from Christopher Rocchio. That's Ashes of Man. Dynamite cover there. Can't wait to read this soon. Yeah, just pumped for that. And to continue the Sun Eater train here, I got my hands on the special limited editions of the two short fiction collections. And these are only available through Inderita Books in the UK, very reasonably priced. But I thought they were all gone, but luckily they had a release for Queen Amid Ashes, and there were a few extra Lesser Devils around. So I got my hands on this first one, The Lesser Devil and Other Stories. And I already read The Lesser Devil and really like that, but I haven't read the other short fiction in here. The cover's amazing. But what's also really great about these is these beautiful naked hardbacks. They just feel extremely high quality, and the printing is extremely high quality. I'm very impressed by Inderita Books. They have amazing customer service too to find this and get this to me. So I'm just so thankful to Rob over at Inderita. Definitely going to be getting more special Inderita editions in the future. And the Queen Amid Ashes one, another just amazing cover. Can't wait to read the short stories in here, and I'm so glad I can get a hold of these limited editions for what's one of my favorite series of all time now. So yeah, loving these. One that I just got because I was needing to read some things in it was Memories Legion by James S. A. Corey. That's the collection of short fiction that was released recently. I started The Expanse, and I have all the paperback editions, but this isn't released in paperback yet, but I figured I want to read stuff in it. Let me just go for it. And so far, the first 4 stories in here, really great, and really great additions to the whole Expanse world. And so, yeah, really great science fiction that I'm loving right now. All right, now these two were actually gifts from the CEO and founders of the company I work at, and it's very sweet of them. This duology by Hafsa Faisal, We Free the Stars and We Hunt the Flame. This is YA fantasy, and don't think it's really up my alley, but just for them to be aware that I love reading fantasy and for them to get this duology as a present, just really thoughtful, and it's thought that counts on that one. Maybe I can give this to my nephew who's interested in reading fantasy these days, and maybe I can end up reading it alongside of him. We'll see. But even if I don't get to it for a while, just a wonderful gift there. Very, very thoughtful. Alright, a bunch of other new releases I'm excited about. We have Empire of Exiles by Aaron Evans, Library of Alexandria. Alan just recently read this and really loved it. This is the kind of new release that is very exciting, something that's a little bit different in the kind of story it's trying to tell. So can't wait to try that one. Another one I'm very excited about is The Severing Sun by Vaughn Roycroft. Philip Chase reviewed this very highly, and yeah, it seems like it's the kind of fantasy that is now really up my alley in the John Gwynne, Bernard Cornwell's Warlord Chronicles type. So yeah, very pumped to try that out. And then Alan recently reviewed, on Goodreads at least, and really liked Savages by K.J. Parker. This was a standalone novel I didn't even know existed until recently. It only got published in print in a limited run by Subterranean Press, and I have a bunch of K.J. Parker's novels right now, and so I really wanted to get my hands on this. I was lucky enough to find a pretty cheap copy on eBay, and so it's in like new condition, and very lucky to get my hands on this and excited to try it out. And then some Adrian Tchaikovsky new releases. I'm just accumulating Adrian Tchaikovsky books way faster than I'm able to read them, but considering that he's basically like 12 for 12 with me now, I'm definitely going to try everything he's ever written. And we have the book 2 of the final architecture books. That's Eyes of the Void. Very excited to try his sci-fi after loving Shadows of the Apt so much. And his latest new release, City of Last Chances, which is fantasy, kind of a political revolution fantasy. Alan really loved it. This is really weird because it released in ebook and in a hardcover in the UK, but not in the US until like May. So I got this from Book Depository, and yeah, very happy I can read this soon and try to at least read some of his new releases to stay on top so I don't fall too far behind. When Target was running its buy two get one free promotion, which they often do, that's a perfect time for me to buy a trilogy that I'm interested in. And I've been seeing this in a lot of places recently and excited to try it out. The Wolf by Leo Carew. I also love the design of these covers and the way that each cover is kind of dominated by a certain color, but the overall design feels very united. This is book 2, The Spider, and the very recently released The Cuckoo. So definitely want to get to this trilogy sometime soon, and hopefully I didn't make a mistake getting all 3 of those. Now, on Book Outlet, they had Forge of Darkness. That's book 1 of the Carcanis trilogy, the prequel that takes place thousands of years before the Malazan Book of the Fallen series. And I know that this book is probably not for me. I'm an OCD completionist. I've read 10 Erikson Malazan books. Oh, strike that. 11 with The God Is Not Willing, and 6 of Esselmann's books. So I'm 17 books in. I'm not going to stop, even if this one really is not for me, because I opened up the first few pages and read a little bit and saw the Dramatis Personae, saw the Tist family tree at the beginning, and after reading a bit, I'm like, oh, this is going to be a challenging read, especially because a lot of the more minor characters that appear in this, that appeared in the 10-book series, I almost could barely remember, and so, yeah, I'm probably going to only get to this when the 3rd book eventually comes out, and then I can be maximally immersed in it and hopefully follow along as best as I can. But yeah, looks really cool. Glad to have another Malazan book. All right, now we got a lot of things from Book Outlet on discount. One of them that I saw a bunch of people enjoying recently was The Vanished Birds by Simon Jimenez. Definitely excited to try something a little different, and yeah, pumped to get that. This one is Artifact Space by Miles Cameron. I saw the Brothers Gwyn, enjoyed this, and yeah, haven't read anything by Miles Cameron, but excited to try it out. Alright, to complete an order on Book Outlet to get the free shipping, I got this for a couple bucks. I did not realize it was like a pocket edition of Don Quixote. It's a classic of Western literature that I eventually want to try out, and this is a very nice little edition with the gilded edges, but the print is tiny, and so I don't actually know if this is how I want to read Don Quixote, but very cute little pocket edition here. So at least happy I have a copy of that one. Then on Book Outlet, I also found book 3 of the Hyperion Cantos. I've read books 1 and 2 a while ago. I like them a lot, and so I eventually want to continue with this. So this is Rise of Endymion by Dan Simmons. I read Daughter of Red Winter, the new release by Ed McDonald, earlier this year, and really liked it. So I am excited to get to his earlier trilogy, the Blackwing trilogy that Alan loves so much. And after I won the Book Jeopardy round on Alan's channel, he actually sent me book 2 as a prize. That's so thoughtful and nice of Alan, and that's Ravencry. Can't wait to try this soon. Because I had book 1 already, and now I got book 2, I got book 3 to finish out the trilogy Crowfall. So very excited about that. Another author I'm excited to try is P. Jelly Clark. I have this little novella, The Haunting of Tramcar 15. I know Jimmy really likes this one, and the next one I have here, which is A Master of Jinn, like a urban detective fantasy set in Egypt, or a fantasy version of our Egypt, so kind of different than what I usually read. I'm excited to try out a change of pace there. And then I got Camelot by Giles Christian. After loving the Warlord Chronicles, I want to try out other Arthur retellings. This is book 2, though. I have to get my hands on Lancelot, and a lot of people seem to be loving that or reading it soon. So definitely have to try out Giles Christian. Now to Bernard Cornwell. What would a book haul of mine be without some Bernard Cornwell books? So I am a Sharp fanatic. I'm 14 books in to the 22 book series, and so I have to get my hands on the whole series, and that means I had to get the 3 kind of mini books that Cornwell has released. They're all kind of published by some independent press, and they go towards his foundation. Now that's Sharp's Skirmish, which is a Sharp little novelette that takes place after Sharp's sword, I believe, after the Battle of Salamanca. And then there is Sharp's Christmas, which has the only 2 short stories besides Sharp's Skirmish collected together. And then there is Sharp's Story, which is a nonfiction memoir type book about Cornwell's writing of the series. And I don't know too much about it. It has spoilers, so I'm saving it for when I'm done with the whole thing. Speaking of done with the whole thing, I finally got my hands on the last book that he released, and I was waiting on this because all of my books are paperback, and they only have the hardback out right now in Sharp's Assassin. But it was very cheap on Book Outlet, and I don't have a matching set anyway, so I figured let me just go for a hardback to have one Sharp hardback, maybe before the next one comes out, hopefully later next year. And so this is like book 22, I think. Hopefully not going to be getting to this one in the too distant future, because I'm pretty excited to keep going through Sharp. And then on Book Outlet, there was another Saxon Tales book, the Last Kingdom book, The Flame Bearer. I don't even know what number this is. I'm just trying to accumulate all of them over time so that when I dive in, I have all of them, or as close to as many of them as I could, and getting them on discount. I think this series is going to be a huge hit with me, so can't wait to get more of those. In my last book haul, I showed off my trade paperbacks of the Warlord Chronicles that were printed defectively. So I, from eBay, got my hands on the actual copies that they're supposed to look like. The Winter King actually looks very nice when it's not all green. Here there's actually a kind of sunset battle happening, and I really like the color scheme. So glad that I decided to return that one and look for the actual version. And same for Enemy of God. I can now clearly see the artwork happening here, and now I have a true matching set of these, one of my favorite series of all time, after reading it a few months ago. And then I have been trying to accumulate everything Ursula Le Guin has ever written after reading just the Wizard of Earthsea, which I thought was really beautifully written and full of wisdom. And Le Guin has written a lot in her long writing career. I've already had a collection or 2 of her short fiction, but I got 2 more chonkers. This is The Unreal and the Real, bunch of short stories. That one's big. But this one's even bigger, which is The Found and the Lost, a collection of her novellas. I really like these omnibus editions. I just love omnibus in general. Just feeling like I have a collection of a lot of things. It appeals to my collector and hoarder sensibilities, I think. And this is also a Le Guin omnibus. This is the first 3 novels in her Hainish cycle: Rocannon's World, Planet of Exile, City of Illusions. And these are so short, they seem like they're more like novellas, honestly. So it's more like three novellas, but can't wait to try out her Hainish cycle sci-fi novels, and also finish Earthsea. The last one here is one that I am super excited to try after it's gotten so much love on All Around Book 2 recently, and that is Book 1 of Dandelion Dynasty, The Grace of Kings by Ken Liu. This has just been praised up to wazoo recently all around, and I'm very interested to see what's going on because it's a very different kind of fantasy book than the ones I usually read. And so excited to dive in because I've read some Ken Liu short stories and have been blown away. So can't wait to try his longer stuff. All right, that finally is the end of my book haul. Hopefully I won't have one, or a much smaller one, to bring to you next time, and we'll see. Let me know if you really liked any of these, or excited to try them, or really loved any that you saw that I haven't read yet. And hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you next time.